today's post, we're going to be talking about insomnia, the causes and how we're going to take care of it. Typically, anybody coming in that has a sleep issue we want to address, because getting enough sleep is obviously very important for healing. And if you are constantly getting up in the middle of the night, or you can't fall asleep, or you're getting up earlier than you really should, then the sleep disturbance is one of the main things that needs to be addressed to address the entire person that's coming in. So there are two main things that it can be coming from. There could be a neurological side to the problem, or there could be a metabolic side to the problem. Typically on the metabolic side, it has to do with glucose metabolism, your blood sugar. It has to do with how much stress you have. So the glucose is being stabilized by cortisol, one of the stress hormones. So tending to have cortisol levels that, instead of being high in the morning and low at night, they can be low in the morning and high at night, or they stay high all day, or they can be flat. In other words, they can be very, very low because your body's been so fatigued for so long that their stress levels have been so high for so long that the adrenal glands eventually just get pooped out. They can't produce enough cortisol. Any of these patterns, though, will alter the blood sugar. So if your cortisol is high at night, then you'll tend to be not able to fall asleep. If the blood sugar has been abnormal, where maybe you go into hypoglycemic states, you go into these low blood sugar states in the middle of the night, the body needs sugar, the brain needs sugar particularly, to keep itself going. So as a result of the low blood sugar, sugar stores will be released, particularly from the liver. The liver will release its glycogen as glucose into the bloodstream so that sugar can get to the brain, so that the brain can continue to function. What triggers that is the cortisol, because when the blood sugar goes low, that's interpreted as a stress. Cortisol is released. So when cortisol levels are off, you can certainly have these sleep disturbances. On the neurological side, if we're looking at the brain from left to right and how it's firing down into the body, there can be imbalances from a left to right perspective in how the brain is functioning. This is called a hemisphericity. As a result, you'll have thoughts that you can't turn off at night. Obviously, stress does that, but what the stress does is it causes these neurological imbalances from left to right. So one of the things we look for in a brain-based perspective is the balance between the left and right side of the brain. If you can balance that out, then you're going to get the person able to better produce the chemicals needed to fall asleep, to stay asleep, etc. One of the third things that can go on is people that wake up too early. In other words, they're getting up an hour or two before they really should. That could also be due to a liver issue, because the liver is what stores the glycogen, the storage form of sugar. And again, if the liver's faulty and it's not storing enough glycogen, then blood sugar stores start depleting before you're supposed to be waking up. As a result, cortisol gets released much earlier than it should, and it ends up waking you up an hour or two before you're supposed to. So depending on what kind of sleep issue you have, whether you can't fall asleep, whether you can't stay asleep, or you're getting up too early, you really have to evaluate the entire person, recognize that getting the person functioning better is going to be able to allow you to determine where that sleep disturbance is coming from. You get to the cause of the sleep disturbance, not by taking Ambien or other types of sedatives, because what you want to do is get to the cause of the problem, address that cause, and as a result, the person's going to be starting to sleep a whole lot better. Some of the other reasons that the glucose can go high is because of the cortisol, is that if the person's in pain. So if your pain is the issue, and the pain is what's causing you to stay up, again, you have to get to the cause of why the person's having the pain, why the person's having a sleep disturbance. So everything's about getting to the function of the body, recognizing that you treat the person and not the diagnosis, and you recognize the fact that everything can affect everything, so therefore you need to look at everything. It's not a matter of, oh, we'll take this natural supplement. That's not what it's all about. So find a doctor that understands these things, get under care, and get back on the road to health again. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and make it a great day.